Don't get me wrong.
It was a tragedy so narrowly averted this afternoon. A Secret Service agent on the advance team on the golf course, a few holes ahead of the former president as he played the Trump International Golf Course. He was in the fifth hole in West Palm Beach, Florida, while that agent spotted a muzzle of a weapon poking through a chain-link fence. The gunman secreted by bushes. That agent opening fire, the suspect now in custody. David Spunt on the phone now with more on that suspect and this developing story that came so close, it seems. Hi, David.
Yeah, hey, Eric. Hey, Molly. We're told the suspect's name is Ryan Wesley Ruth, R-O-U-T-H. Not much more known about him at this time, except that he's the suspect currently in custody right now. Palm Beach Sheriff's Office says that he was taken into custody by the Martin County Sheriff's Office, just the county north of Palm Beach, was taken into custody after escaping the scene in his black SUV. According to the sheriff in Palm Beach, he did not make any sort of initial statement when he was taken into custody. They're expected to be releasing more details, a mugshot, whatnot later, but we're continuing to dig into who he is, who Ryan Ruth is, where he's from, his background. We're seeing a little bit online. We want to be careful and make sure we have all of the information correct before we present it to our loyal viewers. But we can tell you right now that his name is Ryan Wesley Ruth. Eric.
This is like a movie. Not even 6 months have passed. Guys tried it again. You could have waited for Christmas.
Please, it's too late.
They really hate that guy.
I am disgusted after watching that debate. I am disgusted that the world sees that that's the Republican Party's best foot forward. I am embarrassed to the core of my being that I live in a place where people see that and they excuse it and they're going to vote for him against every form of critical thought that they have. It disgusts me. I cannot believe that we have to sit here and talk about that complete shit show. Lunatic. Again, it's just, I can't believe that people see that and think, I'm voting for him.
And I think a shooter can take that beat with her talking in the background and be like, hey, I feel motivated. But no, that's not hate speech. I mean, the only people that have come close to Trump right now is Bush when they threw a shoe at him, or the Pelosi's husband when they hit him with a freaking hammer. In my lifetime. I mean, if this is going to be the new normal in the future, I don't know. Maybe it's going to look like Mexico when a candidate wins, but they kill 37 others.
And we want to be careful with the information because we want to get it from authorities and not go into speculation. Any sense, though, from what you've been able to determine, what could have potentially been a motive yet? Or is it much too early, David, in terms of politics?
I can already give you an idea. Look in the pinned comment. There's a whole interview that this person did in 2022.
And what are you doing here in Ukraine?
My initial goal was to come and fight. I think, everybody around the globe should be motivated to come here and support the Ukrainians and support the army, no matter what gender, age, anything. Everybody should be here supporting the army. But I'm 56, so initially they were like, well, I have no military experience. So they're like, you're not an ideal candidate. So they said, not right this minute. So plan B was to come here to Kyiv and promote getting more people here. We need thousands and thousands and thousands of people here fighting with the Ukrainians. We need, we've got 190 countries around the world, and we need thousands from all of them. If the governments will not send their official military, then we civilians have to pick up the torch and make this thing happen. And we've gotten some wonderful people here, but it's a small fraction of the number that should be here. If we have 5,000, to 10,000 people here fighting, that is just a minuscule amount of the 5 billion people on the globe. We need everyone here fighting.
I thought you wanted peace on the planet. Now it's all about become a hero and supporting the war machines for a good cause. Through empathy, we are helping people, sending more men to war.
No, I'm going to be honest, we don't know at this time. I mean, this is coming from 2 law enforcement sources, the name. I think they're trying to figure that stuff out right now. Every case is different, but for perspective when it comes to motive, and this is a question that we've asked many times covering law enforcement, when can you decide what makes a motive? The July 13th shooter, Thomas Crooks, who died on the scene there and was killed by law enforcement, the FBI still has not been able to come out with a motive in that case, and there's a possibility there may not be a motive in this case. There were some shootings, and this was not a shooting today, and the former president thankfully was not hurt, But there are cases where there are no motives. That may not be the situation here. It's just too early to tell, given the fact this is only 4 hours old. They're still talking to him, figuring things out, going through his social media, seeing if he had stuff written down. But
It does not matter. How did he know the route where you're going to be? Where did he know that you're going to play golf and at the 6th hole, 5th, 7th or whatever, you're going to be there and he's going to get the shot? Isn't that weird? I don't care who has better protection or not. I care how they keep finding out where he is and try to delete him.
So the new Trump assassin just dropped, and there's some spicy details already. Ryan Routh, very strange guy who's lived a very strange life. And this time, the internet was wise and archived all of his socials as much as possible before the FBI took it all down. So here's some basics on what we know about him, and one really interesting rabbit hole about who he might be. Right off the bat, though, it's super early. This is all speculative. Take your time, pump the brakes. We're just digging through dirty laundry. We don't know what sticks yet.
But it still stinks a lot.
But this guy is a private American citizen who traveled to Ukraine on his own dime, to help recruit civilian soldiers to fight for Ukraine and Afghan special forces. He was like recruiting on his Facebook page. Here's an archive of all of his tweets that look pretty damn automated to me. They pretty much all look like this. In a past life in Hawaii, he apparently ran this company that made a single tiny home and a single Facebook page and never did anything else with it. Super weird. But I grabbed everyone that he followed on Twitter before they deleted it. He only followed 60. And right down at the bottom of that list, which I think indicates his first follow, is this girl named Sue Kim, who is ex-CIA, along with some other very interesting things.
I think the internet is a very healthy thing because it helps us recognize patterns that specific people never wanted us to realize is happening. And the pattern is that you have two groups that are in power and there might be somebody at the top. I just didn't expect to see CIA again in such a situation. I'm not pointing finger, I'm just saying it's suspicious.
Now again, reminder, this is just speculation, digging through Twitter dirt. Maybe this chick is just a wonderful, patriotic person that's helping America. Who knows? But her account is private, meaning why does he follow her? I've been digging around and one of my followers said that they found her in the people that follow him back. I have not been able to confirm that for myself because they took the account down. If you've got a video of the 1.2 thousand followers that followed him, that would be great to know. He says that she was at the bottom of his followed list, meaning that she followed him right when he made the account. That would make sense, seeing as she's at the bottom of his following list of who he follows too. I mean, every asset needs a handler. And when you go through some of these other affiliations here, you get what is essentially the CIA training grounds at Johns Hopkins University. It explores the relationship between politics and the many kinds of military power, from the use of terror by small non-state groups to the threatened use of nuclear weapons. Its director is John McLaughlin, who is literally an ex-acting director of the CIA and ex-deputy director of the CIA, 3-decade career at the CIA. David is third on the list of people at the top of this institution at the university. 30-year career in Army Special Forces, various special operations, invading various countries, as well as Operation Enduring Freedom.
Oh, shut up. Shut up. Just shut up.
As well as Operation Enduring Freedom. You get the idea. Anyways, Rand Corporation. That's a military industrial complex think tank, kind of like the Atlantic Council. And LMI org. Yeah, that's like a military industrial complex education and training program as well. Preliminary findings on the internet when you search our homeboy, the shooter, show his arrest record, including in 2002, possession of weapons of mass destruction. Class F felony?
Why does a guy that seems so normal that does some interview talking about helping people in war has access to a weapon of mass destruction? Class F. Class freedom? I'm not pointing fingers.
along with 3 other blocks of things like possession of handguns or concealed weapons and driver's license stuff. And yeah, that sounds like some operative shit to me. But again, we don't know any of this yet. We're just digging through dirty laundry on the internet. It's hard to tell what's real. But this is a photo of the weapon he used and the setup he had. People are speculating it looks an awful lot like, you know, Russian-Ukrainian class of rifle. He's doing these weird recruitment ops in Ukraine for civilians. Well, he's like posting on his Facebook all the time to like no followers about how he's recruiting hundreds of civilians to fight for Ukraine. Like posting for like Afghan special forces to contact him so they can come fight in Ukraine. But he's like just a random citizen from Hawaii. And one of the 60 people he follows is this CIA gal that allegedly follows him back. That looks an awful lot like a handler or a contact. His account looks an awful lot like a bot or an MK Ultra or a Pato. Who knows what the hell this is? His criminal record looks an awful lot like what you might expect a kind of guy in this kind of line of work to leave behind.
I'm a sniper expert. You would find it rather interesting, right? Really? Normal guy? Why the heck is a CIA ex-operative... I'm not pointing fingers.
And then there's the weird video evidence getting turned up.
Officials in Kyiv simply aren't interested in recruiting them.
Ukraine is reluctant to be cooperative.
That's Ryan Ruth, a U.S. citizen who set up the International Volunteer Center in Ukraine to help connect foreigners to Ukrainian military units.
Now I'm talking to over 100 soldiers every day, and pretty much everybody, all of my contacts in Ukraine, they were adamant and pretty much yelled at me every time that I suggested that we bring in Afghans.
Don't worry, it's not because of racism, but hey, he was also in another commercial.
The action is to appeal to both leaders.
That's weird, right? Just like the previous shooter. He also was in the BlackRock commercial. That's weird. But I'm not pointing finger.
The Ukrainian government didn't respond to our request for comment, but a source close to the officials in Kyiv told Semaphore that their top concern is the question of loyalty in the thick fog of war.
The biggest thing is spies. They're afraid that anybody and everybody is a Russian spy.
Shout out to some bitch I know on X, who currently has one of the best archives of all of his socials and accounts. There's a lot of other people doing good work right now. And again, I just want to clarify. I'm not trying to pretend like I've solved the case or like we know what's going on. We just have learned by now that the FBI is going to just cover everything up. And so it's up to us to try to dig everything out before they do. So that's what we're doing. And yes, it's ridiculous that that is even a set of sentences we have to say in America in 2024 when someone tries to kill the former and future president of the United States of America. And I mean, I can only imagine who might be backing up these operations to try to shoot him and who might be providing the intel and the access and the cover-ups, etc. So last thing I'll say, Ryan Routh, he's currently in custody. He was driving away in an SUV. They caught him. He's alive for now. And I just want to remind us all, Ryan Routh did not kill himself. If cameras malfunction outside of his cell, if he has a weird slipping accident, whatever happens, yeah.
Yeah, just like the first guy that had that beautiful island. Remember? The security guard fell asleep, the camera turned off, and suddenly he himself. And it didn't work the first time. They didn't even add extra security for the second time. Whoops.
50 more days. My money's on at least one more attempt before we get there. So stay frosty. Because the war machine desperately needs the wars to escalate. And they're not down with the MAGA Maha folks shutting down the wars. And they are ready to kill people, ready to assassinate, allegedly, apparently, theoretically, just jokingly, in order to perpetuate those wars.
The fact that this guy has to speak in such a way, and I need to speak in such a way, it's kind of weird that we have more eyes on us than the other people that might be doing this and advocating for certain things, but no, we need to do that for the empathy to help other people.
Don't get me wrong, makosa kita bong. Put the fire na mi blonde kush hash purple skunk criollo colombici jam jam. Dur loqueta verdeta welcome.